So the coping and seething is very apparent in this clip. So for those of you who don't know, Coachella was recently, I think Bernie gave like a little speech or something at Coachella, and he got a very, very positive reaction. He's been barnstorming the country with AOC. They're doing their anti-oligarchy tour. They're calling out Trump. They're calling out Elon Musk. They're fighting back. They're getting like literal prime Beatles-sized audiences. So it's a big deal, right? But at Coachella, there's this band. I guess this is the band here, Kneecap. It's an Irish band, and they, in their set at Coachella, put up a sign that said, fuck Israel, maybe free Palestine was underneath it. It was something like that, right? That was the gist of the sign. And, of course, in the right-wing media sphere, this is worthy of hair-on-fire meltdown reactions. Now, what doesn't get hair-on-fire meltdown reactions, it would be the endless carpet bombing and destruction of Gaza for the world to see on a regular basis. That they don't really care about. So this right here, they don't talk about it. They don't cover it. They don't give a shit. It means nothing to them. They act like this is not news. Now, by the way, these numbers are literally a year old, so they're way higher now. But we're talking about a minimum of 45,000 people killed. I've seen numbers as high as 189,000 people killed. We're talking about at least 15,000 children that have been murdered by Israel, at least 10,000 women. We're talking like 90% civilian death rate, over 80,000 people injured, over 100 journalists murdered by Israel. We're talking about hospitals being bombed and mosques being bombed and schools being bombed, and over 500 medical personnel having been killed, over 300 healthcare facilities attacked, civil defense workers killed, UN workers killed, heritage sites bombed. We're talking hell on earth. Fox has dick to say about this. They have fuck all to say about this. But what they do want to talk about is, oh my God, my feelings are hurt because a band was politically incorrect and spreading a very moral message of, hey, fuck the country that's carpet bombing innocent people. So let's watch, and I'll have a lot to say about it.
Which is a band I've never even heard of. If they want to be for the Palestinian people, then they shouldn't be anti-Israel. They should be anti-Hamas.
What am I even supposed to say to this? The blood of hundreds of thousands of innocent Palestinians are directly on the hands of Israel and the U.S. It's U.S. bombs being launched by Netanyahu and the IDF directly at the faces of toddlers. And you want to... Why would you be anti-Israel? All I did was bombed your kids relentlessly and starved them to death. There's been over 50 children in Gaza who've already died from malnutrition, from starving to death. Because it's been over 45 days. Israel hasn't allowed in any food. They don't even send in medicine. Kids have had legs and arms amputated with no anesthesia. A literal nightmare scenario that could fucking wake you up in a cold sweat. And it's happening to them in reality. And this dumbass bitch is like, why would you say fuck Israel? You should actually say fuck Hamas if you're pro-Palestine.
And to see on stage a large billboard that says F Israel.
Unreal.
You need a fainting couch? You need a fainting couch? You want to clutch your pearls? You gonna be okay? Like, these are the people. Oh, bro, we're politically incorrect, bro. We don't believe in cancel culture, bro. We tell hard truths and don't care who it offends, bro. And now it's, oh, I'm offended. You said the naughty word about Israel. Oh, dear Israel.
Unreal. No, this didn't happen in Nazi Germany in the 1930s. This was in 2025 in America.
Oh, my God. There's no way. I got to hear that again. There's no way.
Well, no, this didn't happen in Nazi Germany in the 1930s. This was in 2025 in America.
She said, no, this didn't happen in 1930s in Germany. Yeah, Riley. It didn't happen in the 1930s in Germany because Israel didn't exist. I can't. The only reason this bitch is famous is because she came in like 5th place in a swimming competition. That's the only reason. The big scandal about the trans swimmer who won events and she, made a national media profile over being a victim. Meanwhile, she didn't even fucking come in second. She didn't even come in second. Who are you? What gives you the credentials to go up there? You got nothing to say. This looks like 1930s Germany where they were saying, fuck that country that doesn't even exist yet. That's what this looks like.
Beyond staggering.
Well, and that's what I wanted to ask you was, how do we combat this with young people? I feel like we can see how it got here, which is the absolute, but how do we combat it now? How do we turn these young people around?
How do we turn these young people around? Man, all these young people are saying, fuck Israel. That's so crazy. How did that happen? How do we turn this around? Oh, I don't know. Maybe tell Israel to stop carpet bombing innocent people? Stop killing hundreds of thousands of innocent people? Stop starving them? Stop doing a genocide and trying to complete an ethnic cleansing and steal the land? Maybe that. But by the way, I don't think it's going to work, because it's not like young people are going to give you a mulligan for the first 200,000 people you murked. They're not going to, sure, they kill 200,000, but they've changed their ways. The ship has sailed, bro. The ship has sailed. Everybody knows what needs to be done. What needs to be done is the U.S. needs to cut off all the money, cut off all the weapons, sanction them at the UN, arrest the war criminals, enforce a peace deal. That's it. Say, I don't care what your opinions are. This has become a nation of psychopaths. I didn't stutter. Yes, that's what it is. Why do I say that? We've seen polling data on what percentage of the Israeli public says they think the IDF has gone too far. The number's like 3% or 6%. Okay, that 3 or 6%, you're cool. But the other 90+%, I'm sorry, shove a cactus up your ass for all I care. I hate you, right? Like, I hate you. And you are partaking in Holocaust-level atrocities on a daily fucking basis. And so how do we turn this around? There is no way to turn it around. The ship has sailed. This is literally like saying, in 1945, like, bro, how do we get the Americans to revive the belief in Nazi Germany, bro? How do we get them to forgive Nazi Germany? Well, you know what? They might know a thing or two about that, because the right these days is kind of, many on the far right are openly pro-Hitler. So I don't know. Ask Nick Fuentes how you revive somebody as monstrous as Hitler or, Netanyahu in today's day and age.
We have to remove these activists from these authority positions.
Oh my God. So you know what she's saying? We have to remove these activists from these authority positions. This is a wink and a nod to the Trump policy of, if you do pro-Palestine protest, you should be punished. You got Mahmoud Khalil and Ozturk. They're both locked up because one of them wrote an op-ed. The other one was a leader for the pro-Palestine protest, never committed any crime whatsoever. They're locked up indefinitely right now because they dared to criticize Israel. And her response is, oh, I know, yeah, that'll make young people support Israel. Why don't you just, fire more pro-Palestine people or demote them or deport them or lock them up? Yeah, that'll work. That's a great PR strategy. Hey, if you criticize that country, your life is going to be ruined. Do you like us yet?
We've seen these rogue activist judges. Of course, that's been pretty heavily reported on. People are beginning to open their eyes, but these activists have infiltrated into academia, these large, prestigious, at one point maybe considered prestigious academic institutions.
That these activists have, so in other words, pro-Palestine people have infiltrated universities. Okay, the White House has been infiltrated by Zionist genocidal freaks. Trump's taken $100 million from Miriam Adelson. The Israel lobby has their fingerprints over all of the foreign policy decisions of this country. The Israel money has influence over the show you're on right now and the network you're on right now. You want to talk about infiltration? We're saying there's been a pro-Palestine infiltration. Oh yeah, if there's one thing I know, it's that institutions in this country are way too pro-Palestine. Do you fucking hear yourself? Do you hear yourself? They can't help themselves. They play the victim as they always side with the oppressor. This is the trick. This is the trick they play. We're such a victim. I'm such a victim. They're such a victim. Even though that they're the ones with all the power and all the money and are doing all the atrocities and breaking all the laws. Somehow we're still victims and we're going to cry about it.
We have to remove them and, of course, reinstill the values of education. I mean, it's really as simple as that.
Well, we can end on a point of agreement. I think we should reinstill the values of education. And if you're talking about reinstilling the values of education, you would be teaching this. You would be teaching these numbers. And actually, like I said, this is a year old, so the numbers are significantly higher now. But if you actually believe in the value of education, we're already going to start having conversations about we need like a Palestinian Holocaust museum, right? Like what we need to do, like I said, is solve this ASAP. Cut off the money, cut off the weapons, arrest Netanyahu, arrest Ben-Gvir, arrest Smotrich, lock them up. You know, they're guilty of the crime of genocide. It's that simple. But if you actually believed in education, you would be on our side. You would be on the side of that band that said fuck Israel. This is not a particularly difficult question. It's actually a very straightforward question. It's a very simple question. And God bless these people for doing this, man. The Irish are based as fuck, man. I mean, you got to call it what it is. They really are. And it's because of their history, right? It's because of their history in being occupied. And they know what it's like to be a genuine victim. And so they are showing solidarity through and through and through. And I fucking love them for it. And here we are in the belly of the beast of the decrepit, rotten empire. And you got propagandists like this who aren't even good at their jobs. Go back to swimming and finish 5th again. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.